Wait, why talk about me first? You've been disappeared from YouTube for
I'll
the
probably
longest.
put a video up what I've been doing first, but I'll do a. Yours is way more intense because at least I was responding to messages. Yours was
Yeah.
I almost sent a search and rescue team to your house, dude.
Do the
It seems
editors.
it would seem kind of weird for Leo, by the way. I was thinking for posting it, we could just do like the last time I posted the full video just because I didn't have time to clip it and I was leaving like a day later for the trip. But this time I'm thinking we could do the thing we always do where I clip it and then I link to the full video on your channel if you wanted to do that. So then, because we've both been MIA for a while, obviously I'd like us both to get something out of it. So
I mean, I'm gonna probably be posting for the next few days. I don't mind. Whatever's easiest, whatever helps you the best, you know.
okay.
Whatever you prefer, I don't mind. But it would be cool for you to do the clips, obviously. Yeah.
Yeah.
Just link it back to Leo because it's his turn to get a full podcast, and
Sure.
otherwise we can do the next one.
Yeah, that works.
Depends on how long we're going to go on a tangent on this autopsy report because it might take 2 hours.
No.
This full I think we can keep ourselves in check hopefully on that.
Should I put a timer so we can get like
I
what
feel
is the
like
ideal
Your timer
video?
is I will literally fall asleep. So I can't think at all.
I'm
like
just gonna
a
let
drunk person.
I'm gonna let you lead the conversation so you can keep yourself awake.
So we can't because somebody's posting this full podcast, Leo probably. We can't just talk about the autopsy without talking about like where the fuck everybody's been, obviously.
Yeah.
So Leo is not dead. Thank God. Let's talk about what has been going on with you, dude.
Wait, why talk about me first? You've been disappeared from YouTube for
I'll
the
probably
longest.
put a video up what I've been doing first, but I'll do a. Yours is way more intense because at least I was responding to messages. Yours was
Yeah.
I almost sent a search and rescue team to your fucking house, dude.
I contacted
actually-
Jerry Branium to drive by your house. That's the only reliable guy we knew in LA that would be close enough just to give you a visit.
Yeah, I'm unbelievably touched by your actions and Boston and Pete's as well. First of all, I'm two things. First, I was very shocked because I didn't realize that it would be alarming to everyone because I had posted like a few weeks before on Instagram that I was feeling introverted and didn't want to converse with people too much. So I thought people knew, but I realized I never not posted at all for 10 days. My friends back home in Dubai know me when sometime I go once a year or something, I stay away from people.
Was that an Instagram story though that deleted itself that not everyone saw?
Which one?
The one that said you're going to be like taking time off.
Oh, I didn't know it deleted itself.
It's Instagram stories? Because I don't.
Oh yeah, it deleted itself. Yeah, the next day, obviously. Yeah. Not
so
everyone
a
knew.
bunch. Yeah, a lot of people had no fucking idea, dude. Yeah.
Well, I apologize for that. I really apologize for worrying you guys. I'm very touched by your kind actions as well. And in the future, I'll make sure not to. But the reason I found out about it is because I always check your messages, Derek. I only checked like 2 or 3 messages during that time. So I found out, I checked Boston's and Derek's. So I found out very quickly, but I apologize for that. All that was happening is that, some new personal issue happened or news that happened in my life a couple of months ago. And I was not feeling so well emotionally, and I just didn't want to bring anyone down. And on podcasts, especially, it's really hard to talk on a podcast when you're not feeling very well. It can. So that's why I've not been. That's all. It's not a big deal at all. The question is, what have you been doing with your first vacation in life?
Yeah, so I guess I didn't really like go anywhere for vacation because the whole trip in the States was like work based essentially. So I think most people, I don't know if people know like the actual timeline of basically December 1st, I left for the States and I haven't left the country for a long time now. Went to Texas, did the Joe Rogan podcast, went to Sugarland after that, which was like a few hour drive to do. It's called Mogcast with James and Sush. They're like 2 of the top Gorilla Mind athletes, friends of mine. And then after that, it's funny because there was so much stuff happening in a row that, and I also had to prepare for this Dan Bilzerian podcast in Vegas too. So as I was like walking through the Austin airport, like to leave, there was people like watching my Joe Rogan podcast that I hadn't even seen yet. So there was like people, I could visually see people looking up at their phone and then looking at me walking through. And I'm like, damn, I don't even know if it was good yet because I just did it. I didn't even have time to watch it because I was on my way I went to Sugarland right away. And then I flew to Boise, Idaho right after for Guerrilla Mine stuff. So I was there for, I don't know, like 4 or 5 days in Boise, Idaho too, working for Guerrilla Mine stuff. And then right after that, flew to Vegas for, it was supposed to be just Merrick Health stuff. We went to this A4M conference. It's like the most premier anti-aging conference. Guys like Walter Longo spoke and a bunch of other people. Yeah, I think you would have really liked it, Leo. There was expos with like, compounding pharmacies and stuff that we were touching base with. And it also gave me an opportunity to like physically obviously meet up with the team of Merrick Health too, because a lot of it is telemedicine based. We don't always get to meet up in person and actually, hash it up. And, obviously stuff progresses way faster when you're able to talk about, corporate planning and, strategy and stuff when you're literally in person. And it helps, fortify better relationships with everyone and everything. But Dan happens to live in Vegas too. So it was just like good fortuitous timing because I never travel. And I was like, just happened to be going there. And I was like, okay. So I had to buy a bunch of podcast shit because I don't have any. So I had to buy I got like 2 of these camcorders, which are like pretty intense. And then I got a bunch of like mic stands and stuff. And I had to
Oh, you got it there for the podcast.
Yeah. So, well, it's
Okay,
funny because
cool.
I'm doing a podcast right now with my shitty webcam still, but I have these for if I go to somebody's place to do podcasts, I guess. I don't know if I could sync this into like
You can.
live Zoom.
Yeah, you have like an HDMI absorber USB port, and you can stream directly to your computer. Yeah,
Just
sometimes
type that in on
if you-
Amazon, HDMI absorber.
No, absorber. Fuck, what is it called? HDMI
Adapter?
Adapter. Yeah.
something like this. Yeah.
Okay.
It goes HDMI to a USB 3.0, and then you can stream it on your computer. I tried to do it with my camera, but it doesn't really work. So it doesn't work with every camera. Yeah.
So anyway, I had like an extra suitcase full of podcast stuff, which I wasn't planning on till last minute, and then went to his place, set it all up, did the podcast. I think it went really well. And then there was like Merrick Health stuff for the rest of the time I was there, and I was there with my girlfriend, and we did, went out for some dinners and walked the strip, went to some shows. And then after that, I was kind of like, it was weird because it was
Two
like,
questions.
Yeah,
I have brief questions. One, when you met people at Merrick that you never was there anyone you never met before? And
Dude,
did they like surprise you?
I haven't actually physically been in person with any of them ever.
Yeah, I would have assumed it would be interesting. Like some people would be different than what you would have assumed from video conferencing and stuff.
Yeah, maybe. Not
Actually,
really,
that's a
to
good
be
point.
honest,
With the
dude.
modcast too, you met a lot of people that you never met in person before.
Yeah, I think a lot of people are more like surprised of the different heights of people when they see in person. But other than that, no one's really shocked otherwise of different stuff because everyone, I don't know, I've talked to everyone on the phone and over video conferences so many times at this point that I don't know, like met up with like Memo, Brian, Mike Stratton, Kyle, like everyone that I've already been talking to for a long time. And it was pretty much just like, you just like pick up where you left off sort of thing. I imagine it would be the same for us. So it wasn't really that, other than it being a very large amount of people to meet at one time, obviously. There was nothing kind of like, surprising necessarily about it. But
you have a wonderful team there. But have you been to Vegas before? And what did you think of that?
I went one time with Chris a few years ago. But it was a bit of a different experience because I kind of just was like on his itinerary. He kind of just like traded me to Vegas, and I just came along for the ride with him and his wife at the time. And this time it was more like we went to a club one time. We had like a lot of team building stuff. Like we like rented out the whole like top of the Top Golf area and had like a team like party thing, as well as in the first night. It was like a meet and greet sort of thing. And it was just like a big like buffet and everyone's talking. We took new team pictures for the website and stuff. We had like a professional photographer and everything. And yeah, it was really good, dude, especially being there with my girl because I've never, been there with a significant other before. So it was really nice to like walk the strip and get dinners and stuff. So yeah, it was you don't like Vegas very much, but it seemed okay to me.
Wait,
but
who
it's like
me?
it's underwhelming
Yeah.
to you, right? You always talk about how shitty it is.
Well, I had two. No, not so much. But when you grow up abroad, maybe Steve, you feel the same way. You hear about Vegas like you feel like it's like a huge place with so many things going on. But
Hmm.
the Strip is called the Strip because it's apparently literally like a short road, and you can walk past it really quickly. But no, I don't think that badly of it. What really surprised me about Vegas was the cigarette smoking indoors. I was like,
Oh,
I had already
Yeah.
quit smoking by the time I arrived there. I was like, God, I should have lived here. This is so fun. People are, but after you quit smoking, you still get jealous when you see people smoke, even though you're against it. So I was like, oh my God, these guys are enjoying themselves. It's cold here. They're smoking and drinking at the same time.
uh,
Anyway, it's a
no,
fun place.
yeah. So it was a pretty good time. And then when I got back from Vegas, I was actually considering doing a trip to Arizona after, because one of my friends in Vancouver, he just moved there recently and he was asking me to come down, but I was so like burnt out at that point from I was on low sleep pretty much the whole time, doing the podcast stuff, going to team stuff. I don't know, just a lot. The entire trip, I was pretty much underslept, and I was just a little bit burnt out at that point. I was like, I just kind of want to get home for, and just chill out for a few days. So, came back to Canada, and I kind of just like fucking did nothing for a few days, which was really nice. And then I did the whole, manually editing the audio of the Bilzerian podcast, which took like a couple full days of work out of commission too. And then after that, I was kind of like, so much stuff kind of accumulated that I had not really even considered was going to be a part of my timeline at the end of the year, like a residual, like corporate accounting stuff. And with me, my corporate structure is very complicated, being a Canadian resident who owns Canadian companies that own US companies that do this, that do that. So just a lot of stuff sort of like creeped up on me that I was like, I had about like 6 months of emails backlogged that I need to get done, because I've just been leaving them as I've done this like 2-a-day video schedule. So I'm like, I can't feasibly concentrate on new videos when I have all this other stuff going on at the same time. Like I'd be half-assing both of them essentially, or just not doing this while I do the 2 video a day thing, which is partially what I was doing before. So I was like, okay, I'm just going to get back to like ground zero, get all this accounting done, get all this corporate stuff done, get all the emails done, get like Gorilla Mind formulation stuff that's been up in the air done. There's like 5+ products that we've been sort of like right about to finish on that I haven't been able to do because I'm the one who signs off on stuff too. So there's like some stuff that's bottlenecked when I'm behind. So I'm just trying to get back to like ground zero, essentially, if that's the right, terminology for it, and then get back to videos. But yeah, it's kind of been like a vacation a little bit, but at home, because I'm just like slowly chipping away at like the old stuff that's built up and just trying to like, I don't know, fortunately the subscribers hasn't really like fallen off that bad. Like I was gaining per day roughly the same amount I was even when I was putting out a lot of videos per day just on the back of the Joe Rogan and Dan Bilzerian stuff. And then just like, I don't know, it seems like when you stop posting, YouTube almost is like, oh, there's like nothing going on here. Let's like sort of like prop up some of your old shit a little bit more. So it's been like, okay, it's starting to definitely like slowly die a little bit because I have had nothing new for a month at this point. But yeah, that's kind of like where I'm at now. And I definitely need
we thought your channel has turned into a podcasting channel. Like the last 3 months is all podcasts.
Well, it's only 2, but it's like,
Yeah, 2. Okay.
Yeah, the Bilzerian was just like so long that it made like 20 clips. So that's why it seems like it's inundated my feed. But when we do like 4-hour podcasts, I do like 20 clips as well. I usually just break it up into more stuff because I have other videos in between as well, kind of thing.
You know what I noticed, Derek? I only tried the 2 videos a day for a little while, and I'm sure I'm less efficient than others. But what I've had to do, well, also I have the baby. I'm very inefficient. So what I had to do just to edit the videos and like, I have a lot of the research done. I have, hundreds of pages of research on different subjects, but I have to put it into a video format, and then think about how I want to structure it. Basically, like to be able to do it multiple days in a row, I guess with the kind of content we make, I had to like get rid of things during my day that I need to do. Like it's responsibilities, like this is gone, this is gone, this is gone, sleep gone. And I guess you must have been doing that for, I assume, years to some degree. And so the things build up over time, and you can't address them if you're at that race, that pace. Sorry. By the way, I
Yeah.
haven't slept. If anyone hears me saying weird things, I haven't slept only 3 hours last night because my daughter is teething. So I tried to sleep, but the Aura Ring tells me it was 3 hours and the night before 4. So I won't make much sense and be a bit slow today. Sorry about
No,
that.
no, it's okay. No,
Oh,
dude, the
well,
fact that you're able to do 2 videos at all with a new child and like no editor, I was like baffled because it was still good. Like you elevated the editing too. You have this like timeline thing on the bottom now and like all this stuff that you didn't used to have. I'm just
is your
like,
wife
damn. Go
is
ahead,
your
man.
wife helping with the editing?
Yeah, well, sometimes
Yeah.
when like what because the problem is with the baby. So basically, I structure my day so that I wake up before the baby. So when I'm energetic, I can have some quiet time, and I sleep
Mm.
just around the time the baby sleeps. And Lucy does the same thing. She sleeps around the time the baby sleeps and wakes up a bit earlier. So when we're not with the baby, we try to get things done around the house. I'm usually working, and then during the day, I watch the baby for 6 to 8 hours also. And during that time, Lucy gets what she wants done. And if I have like delays in editing and stuff like that, she's very helpful as well.
Yeah. I asked my wife to do all the pre-editing. So when I finish recording a video, I'll send it to her and she'll go through everything, get the clips which are relevant to the top, because sometimes you go off on a tangent and it's just making sense for myself to explain the next subject. And then she crimps down an hour worth of footage into 20 minutes. I'd get the best segments, and then I'll do the last segment of about an hour work. So our structure works quite well. She works like 4 hours on the video, and then the last hour I do to do the overlays and maybe fact check a couple things, and just to make sure that everything is high quality. And then it goes out, and then I do the thumbnail while I'm rendering the video, exporting.
Mhm.
So it works quite well that way. Yeah. Of
The
course, you
reason
can always level up the editing, So.
I mean, that's I don't. We'll talk more about editing later, I guess. But I wanted to bring up to the audience the reason why we're recording, despite me being barely there mentally, is because yesterday. So what happened was several weeks ago, a professional bodybuilder died suddenly just before a competition. George Peterson, God rest his soul, and hopefully this will be only educational and not disrespectful in any kind of way, not prying in too much in his personal life. In Florida, if people die in Florida, there's sort of some kind of law where almost everybody seems to get some kind of autopsy. And if it's a slightly odd death, they do a really full autopsy and they publish it. So I learned this a long time ago because I was looking at my lineage. I have a great grandpa who died in Florida, and I found his autopsy. I was surprised. He had cirrhosis, by the way. It's pretty interesting. But because I knew about that when George Peterson died, I contacted the District 9 Medical Examiner's office in Orlando, Florida, just after his death, and requested that they send me the autopsy when it's ready. They sent me an email with the autopsy yesterday at 5:40 p.m. PST, which is interesting. It was nearly 9 p.m. their time. They sent the email to visible emails. Like there were exactly 4 people who received the email. I assume his family or the police or governing bodies received a separate email, but there was one email sent to the public. It was sent to me, to the Sun newspaper, to TMZ,